Go into your room, that's right. Sit on that fat of yours and do nothing but listen to records.
Being in this room is very special to me. And it reminded me when I had the opportunity to visit Bob Marley's house in Miami. His mom had invited me. This was around 2001, early 2001. Now, obviously, Bob had passed away for quite some time by that point, but you pick up a vibe in his house that there was greatness there. But the spirit still lives. And I feel that way. Knowing that David Bowie sang Heroes right in this room is just thrilling to me. So you might wonder, how did we end up in Berlin? I have to thank our friends at MediaTek for finding the location for us. But also, that the first two events in Detroit is kind of interesting because there's a very big connection between Detroit and Berlin. They both are capitals of the techno genre. The DJ culture never gave up vinyl. So it made a lot of sense for our first European event to be here in Berlin. As Leonard Cohen once sang, first we take Manhattan and then we take Berlin. And it just makes a lot of sense. And also the timing of this event in particular is very good for us because it's 2 weeks after Record Store Day. And in the US, Record Store Day made tremendous strides in setting records of the volume of not only vinyl, but also CDs as well that was being sold. So I'd like to turn it over to Michael Kurtz, who has gathered a bunch of the European representatives of Record Store Day to talk about the growth that they've experienced just in the past, just 2 weeks ago, as well as in recent years. So Michael, are you ready to bring up your people?
I am. Please, join us. Good morning. My name is Michael Kurtz. I was born in Germany. I consider myself a German, although I've been Americanized and speak more like a California stoner, so I apologize for that. I can space out sometimes, but I'll try to be focused today. Joining me are my friends, Kim Bailey from Record Store Day UK, Pascal Bousquet from Record Store Day France, where they call it Disquaire Day, Danilo Duarte from Record Store Day Italy, Esther Bogert at Record Store Day Netherlands, and Jan Kappe from Record Store Day Germany. If you could start the first slide. I'm going to provide a little music for the latest innovation from Record Store Day to go along with this image. I hope it's a good one. My friend Jack White. Conquest. That's what record stores did. In 2007, a bunch of us got together and said, hey, what can we do? We're irrelevant. Nobody cares about record stores anymore. The media's all negative. But we were having a great time. We were throwing parties with our friends, and many of them musicians who came to spend their time with us and play with us and enjoy life. We were having fun. But then nobody else would let us do it. So we said, we'll do it ourselves. So we threw a big party and we called it Record Store Day. The first one was in San Francisco at a record store called Rasputin with our friends in the band Metallica. Metallica chose that store because that was the store they grew up with. And they went and shopped and bought their records there, like kids, like almost everybody did at that time. And they believed the same thing we did, that if we created something special, told everybody it was cool, maybe they would show up. Maybe they would come and have a great time. And in the very first one, we launched with 12 vinyl records. and about 70,000 units, and they all sold out on that day in about 100 stores in the United States. If we could just go to the second slide. So you can see by this chart here. So 2007 is where we got together and decided to throw apart. We're going to do this idea. 2008, we do it. And in 2009, we started reaching out to folks in the international community and making friends and saying, would you like to be a part of this? Or they came to us and said, hey, we heard about it, let's do it. And then things started to explode. And you see the arc of this is just for vinyl sales as it goes up. People ask me, like, how do you do it? How did you do it? It wasn't just me, it was a team of people. And it's really believing in other people, their dreams, and wanting to be a part of it, and then also listening to what they want to do. And I think you're going to see some of that today when the different people talk about what they do in their home countries. It's all unique. It's all pretty special. It's authentic. It's not. It's sometimes I read criticisms that the record store day is a marketing scheme or gimmick or something like that. It really isn't. If anything, it's more of a hippie idea of like, let's get together and have a good time and celebrate music. And it works because it's authentic and the fans connect with that. You can't fake that kind of stuff. And you can't make it happen. It has to happen on its own. I estimate 8 to 10 million people participate in Record Store Day on the day itself. Let's get to the next slide. I can't remember what all we have here. You can just see our figures here. Go to the next slide. So this is just a map of Record Store, what we do. You can see that when we look, before Record Store Day, we still maintained like 70% of vinyl sales. 2006, it started dropping off. 2009 came back again. 2008, this is our percentage of sales of what we did. Early on, I think it wasn't us, it was probably audiophile websites selling really high quality records or bands pressing records, selling on tour. You see, like in about 2014, our share starts to drop. I think that's when the music business really discovered, hey, vinyl is really happening. I mean, they got it along the way, but they started doing it direct to consumer more, so it really, record stores kind of took a hit for a minute. And then we built it back again. Next slide, please. Next slide. And this shows the growth of vinyl's share. This year we made up almost 10% of all sales of music. This is nice. All right, so real quick, this is just, I wanted to share this with everybody because this conference is about physical media, not just about vinyl. We launched a new product we called the RSD3 mini turntable this year. You could just flip the next go to the next one. This is just quotes about it. Next one. And really the idea here was inspired by Pokemon and trading cards. That's really what we're doing. Everybody looks at this and projects on it what they think it is, but really I haven't met too many people that really understand it for what it is. What we want to do for music is what Pokemon did for gaming business. And it is a multi-million-dollar business. It's a huge business. Right now, we're right at the beginning of it, and we launched it on Record Store Day. We didn't know how it would go. We shipped about 4,500 turntables into the marketplace, but mainly in the United States, some in Japan and some in Germany. All of them sold out one day. The records that come with it, let's go to the next file. That's the box that came in. Next one. Every turntable came with a Foo Fighters record. Flip to the next one. And inside was a record that had the song Big Me, and it also had a little poster, a fold-out poster. Next slide. And then we work with Jack White on a blind box series. So when you bought it, you don't know whether you're getting a White Stripes record, Dead Weather, Racketeers, or Jack's record itself. Each one came with a unique poster. So when the fan bought it, they didn't know what they're getting. And the idea is that we want to let people have a sense of discovery, that this is fun. This is not all serious. I mean, there is a serious moment of sitting down and listening to, Blonde on Blonde, or Bitches Brew, or a Prince album or something. But there's also an element of surprise and fun in music, and we really want to celebrate that. And that's what this is. It's the very beginning of the process, the people discovering what it is. The good news is that everyone we made, 17,500 records, sold out in one day. Very much like Record Store Day, I think at least half of those sales are probably to collectors who are buying them just to collect them. And the other half are to people really just wanting to find out what it is and have fun with it. Next slide. You can see the images of the different records we're doing. We'll launch them in black vinyl, but as they sell through, then every record that we sell after will be in a different color. Next. This is Jack designed. This is the Record Store Day when you saw it earlier. Jack did his own design for his turntable. And what we're suggesting to artists is make these for tours, make these for special events, special records to go along with them to commemorate that moment. Because as an aging person, and I think there's lots of us here, with experienced life, the closer you get to the end, the more you realize it's all about those moments, those special moments, to really connect with somebody. And we hope this is a gateway for that. And we already have had it proven to us that it actually is. I think it might be it. So that's it. What we're going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to each individual representative here, and they're going to talk about their experiences, and they have their own slides going on with it. So we'll start with Kim Bailey in the UK.
Okay. Do I have a...
Yeah, come up here.
To move things along?
Yeah, come up. Or you can sit there.
I'd rather do it here, but do we have the... It's up there. Okay.
Okay. And you better.
Yeah. Okay. What I'm going to try and do, so rather than go over old ground at Record Store Day, is really talk you through how we build Record Store Day in the UK, and what we did from kind of 6 weeks up front. So after we've done all the admin side of signing up the stores, signing up the labels and getting the product, this is how we kind of bring it to life with our customers. So what we did 6 weeks up front, together with the whole world really, was a launch event for Record Store Day. In the UK, we had Frank Cartman of Rattlesnakes. They performed at a hotel in London. We invited along media, social influencers, etc. We had body surfing, so it just felt like a big party. And from that, we kind of start building immediate attention. When we get a bit closer to the day, we do a live event with BBC, who are our media partner in the UK. We take that each year to a different record shop, so it's not always in the same place. This year we went up to Jumbo in Leeds, and they do a full kind of hour-long broadcast from the shop talking about what records mean to their customers, what to expect on Record Store Day, and they syndicate that across all the different BBC radio stations. So we really have kind of blanket coverage in the UK of what we're going to be doing. We also have a UK ambassador, which sits underneath the global ambassador. This year we went a bit left field because we'd had a lot of artists do Record Store Day ambassadorships for us. And we decided to sign up the Mighty Boosh, who kind of, produced some Record Store Day product. Really well known in the UK. I don't know how much you know about them, but Noel Fielding, who's in the Mighty Boosh, does the Bake Off in the UK, which is one of the biggest British television shows. So they really had a lot of cut through with the media. Their record was in kind of the top 5 of Record Store Day products this year, so for them it worked as well, and they kind of relaunched themselves on the British public. And then just to kind of give you a flavour of the day and how much participation we have in the UK, 250 shops this year took part. That's the highest number we've ever had in the UK. There are 400 odd shops in the UK, but most of the other 150 are predominantly second-hand, so we're pretty much at 100% saturation of shops participating now. And then really you just build the excitement on the day. So we now see queues from the kind of day before record store day at 5 a.m. in the morning, so people sit outside shops all day on seats, they get their sleeping bags, they stay overnight, and there's really like a huge party that works right the way up to the day. And obviously on the day itself there are events in almost every store, so what we do at Record Store Day is try and publicise all of those events out to our Record Store Day fans, and that's just a kind of a selection on the screen of the kind of things that our shops do, and it will be anything from live performances, signings, simple raffles, people coming in and selling new products, and it's just a really huge party atmosphere really. Obviously, product, there's a lot of that. We had 550 exclusive releases in the UK this year. Those are curated by the Record Store Day team in London, so we get lots of applications. We make sure that that product is exclusive and is suitable for Record Store Day, because what you don't want is people just putting out old stuff that people can buy in the second-hand shop down the road for £1 anyway. So the product this year is really, really strong, and we should really say thank you to all the labels who worked with us on that. And then comes the media coverage, which is really important because, you know, this has grown every year in the UK. So we had more than 4,000 articles in the UK across online, print media, on the radio, etc. And you pretty much can't move for Record Store Day for that week prior to the day. If you turn on 6 radio in the UK, you will hear them talking about Record Store Day every single hour, on the hour, different DJs do different things, so it is huge now. Obviously we trend on Twitter all day, and that's kind of just shows you the power of Record Store Day. So our audience is anything from 16-year-olds or even 5-year-olds, we'll see in some pictures later, to the kind of, you know, record buyers in their 50s, so it really does spread through everyone. And that's kind of what we achieved during the day. I mean, Record Store Day has grown consistently in the UK for every year that we've done it, and we still saw 17% uplift this year on the previous year, so there seems no end to the growth. And really I'm just going to run through what it looked like on the day. So, you know, loads of people out partying, from dogs to babies to, you know, whole families. A lot of fun. I mean, what I want to say about Record Store Day is it's not just a business, it is a huge party for everyone involved, and you just see smiles all day long. And tons of happy customers who sometimes get what they want, sometimes don't get what they want because it's exclusive, but they love the day. And huge social engagement, so that goes across the whole world, but you know, that's just an example of some of the tweets and comments online. We have a lot of sponsors in the UK. We work really closely with Riga, who are our turntable sponsor, and they produce every year an exclusive turntable for us. So this year they produced 500 of that turntable, which you can see. We gave away prizes with a huge proportion of those, so there was, you know, big excitement to get hold of one of those. We have Fred Perry bags designed for us, which the stores give away on the day to their first 20 customers. We also work with Sound Performance on an unsigned band competition. So each year they ask people to send in videos of, you know, 1 minute of their song, and we choose the winners. This year a band called Heavy Rapids, and next year they'll perform for us at our launch event like this year's winner did. And then finally we had a kind of cider tour going around the shops, giving away free cans of Friel's cider, who are our drinks partner. They brand their cider cans up with Record Store Day, and they get sold all the way through different outlets. And that's kind of it really. That's what Record Store Day looks like in the UK, lots of fun. And I'll end with a picture of the girls behind Record Store Day, Megan and Phoebe, who deserve all the credit for everything that goes on in the UK, and basically pull it all together.
Hello to everyone. I am Pascal from France, with my very good English accent, as you can see. Very happy to be there, of course. Please, the next one. Some news from France. And I would like to begin with a few economical figures. Next slide. Just to remind you that in France, with a very clever association of French and English, the record store day is called le discardé. It's very subtle, and I'm sure that all of you understand what it means. Next slide. So, it's interesting to see that the record market in France these days, is growing since now 3 years. So it's really interesting to know that. It's interesting also to know that the global market these days is approximately what it used to be in 2011. It's of course it's not what it used to be a long time ago, but it's definitely a very positive sign to know that. Interesting also to see the new structure of the market. It is the first year, 2018, that the digital business is more than the physical business, which does not mean at all that the physical business, of course, is not in good shape, as the next slide is going to show you. And of course, the vinyl, the vinyl is very important in that. The CD is not dead at all, as we all know. But we still represent, a lot of income there is still a lot of income in the physical business. And of course, the specificity, which is, I think, something quite unique. That France is still the 5th great market, in terms of income after USA, Japan, UK, and Germany, of course. But the specificity of the French market is that we have a lot of hypermarkets. We have the specialized chain like Fnac, of course, which is of course very good. We've got the e-commerce as everywhere, and you've got the independent record stores. And basically, these independent record stores are the only one who provide the advice, the culture of music, in all the sense, of course, of the world. But we still have in France more than 40,000 places where you can buy music. So this is certainly something important. Regarding the independent record shops, there are now approximately 300 in France. Next one. And of course, the growth of the vinyl is something which no one would have expected, even 10 years ago, that now we represent 4 million of sales of vinyl in France in 2018. And it is really, it's quite funny because we have a lot of, marketing guys in the industry, very clever, they did some high schools, but no one could have predicted such a growth of the vinyl. So this is definitely really interesting to point out. Also, something very positive, sometimes you can hear people saying, or journalists saying, yes, vinyl, it's only something, CDs as well, for all people, but it's not true at all. Now you've got all the ranges of categories of ages of people buying music, and the image I think I prefer the day of the record store day when I'm in Paris is to see all the families coming in the shops, as in UK, I guess, as everywhere. And you can see there that young parents, maybe in their early 30s, something like that, they buy vinyl, they buy CDs as well, they have kids, so the kids begin to be, to know also what means physical things. They are not only in the digital era, so this is something really positive I want to point out. Next, yeah. So the discardé, now I would like to show you a few images which have been shot mainly in Paris but also in other cities in France, and which are going to show you the atmosphere of this wonderful event.
Les discardés, a priori, ce sont des pressages qui sont édités et qui sortent ce jour-là. Les éditions limitées, les gens qui sont un petit peu collectionneurs ont à cœur de vouloir les acquérir. C'est le premier arrivé, premier servi. La
spécificité du discardé, c'est même pour des gens qui achètent des disques tout au long de l'année, c'est d'avoir des pièces en groupe que ce jour-là. Et ce qui est formidable, c'est de retrouver cette attente, ce suspense, une heure et demie, 3 heures.
Ça, c'est Alfred Panon.
C'est quelque chose que je cherche depuis plus de 20 ans.
C'est pour moi et pour un copain. Il y a du tout, il y a de la musique de film, il y a de la musique électronique, il y en a un spécifiquement, celui-ci, introuvable auparavant, et j'ai laissé avant.
Souvent ici, on peut prendre un café, les filles sont sympas, c'est cool. Quand vous êtes amateur de musique, de disques, que vous en achetez régulièrement, vous êtes super content qu'une fois par an ce soit la fête. C'est un bon jour pour les amateurs de musique. Ça, c'est l'un des disques de cette année.
Me balader dans Paris et chercher tout ce qui m'intéresse, tout ce que je peux trouver. C'est au plaisir de regarder et de trouver une pépite. J'aime beaucoup, voilà, parce que les gens discutent, échangent, et puis les limites, c'est un peu, c'est moi quand j'avais 40 ans, c'est pas mal. Spécialement pour les disquaires, je vous présente la première compilation au monde connectée et en 3D.
We are working with approximately 200 shops, in many cities, not only in France, but also in Switzerland, Luxembourg and Belgium.
On est là pour l'expérience, voilà, les rencontres, il y a beaucoup de découvertes. Ça fait plaisir. Illusion, exclusivité, 5 titres, et on l'a choisi pour ça.
Yes, next year, 2020 is going to be the 10th anniversary of the event in France, and of course, we are going to do more and more partnerships with closers, with Fred Perry, is always still in the pipeline. Next slide, please. Partnership with beer, you know, it's called the collector beer now, the beer of the record store day, and a lot of other funny things and interesting things. Thanks a lot to you all. Vive la musique.
University of Netherlands. We celebrated our 10th anniversary this year. We have 100 participating record stores in Holland. There are, I think, about 150, but as the same as in the UK and probably everywhere, the other 50 are mainly selling secondhand. We had 180 performing artists on that day, just doing in-stores, like free concerts in all the different stores. And those artists were doing over 300 in-stores. So as you can see, it was a big party both inside and outside the stores. We had over 500 releases. These two girls were on a record shop in Amsterdam, and they were still laughing at this point with unboxing the many boxes from records they received. But they weren't all that happy with unboxing all these releases. At the end they were, of course. We have a single produced in cooperation with the record industry. They were produced in 5,000 copies for the first 5,000 customers. This is the single from De Staat, which is a really popular Dutch rock band. And yeah, they were really happy to be ambassador, and all the customers were really happy to have them as an ambassador. Because people who would normally not come to a record store would line up extra because they wanted to be, to have the single. They were in both blue and red vinyl, so you could. Some people would go to different shops to have a blue and a red vinyl version of it. We had 18,000 free goodie bags produced for all the customers. And we made merchandise available, so what happens is that's not only the shops can sell the t-shirts to the customers, but all the people in the shops are wearing the shirts as well, so it's looked really good. We made magazines. We made this magazine, all the releases are in here, and all the in-stores, interviews, everything, and it was already in stores 2 weeks before Record Day, so yeah, you could grab it and have a look through and across which releases you wanted to have. Even with the coloring page contest to involve kids into Record Day, so we're still receiving, because you could, one of the prizes is the Record Day 3 turntable Michael shows, so we get a lot of grown-up contest, how do you say, coloring pages from grown-ups to win the prize.
In a fantastic venue called Zona Santa Borgia. This is a book presentation of a vinyl junkie. This guy called Marco Cavenaghi owns a collection of 80,000 pieces, only black music. It's a fantastic book. This showcase was in Palermo. In Von Olden Studio is a very small gallery for a label called Infinity Grayscale. It's a label from Berlin. It's a label from Mouse on Mars and Olli Herdon. The date in 2050 coincided with the opening of a small museum in South Italy. It's funny. This is an event in Palazzo delle Arti in Naples, which is a sort of contemporary art museum. They did a talk on Record Store Day 2 weeks after the calendar. And this is the event we arranged directly with Town Council in Milan in a fantastic Liberty Theatre in downtown called Teatro dal Verme. We did a screening of Les Shopstein movie and inviting some local celebrities. So when do we get the records? Of course, in major label and independent distributor first, but there is a good percentage of Italian wholesalers sell directly to the stores in the smallest city, and some stores buy directly for international wholesalers. The value, last year the market share was 60%. Of course, it's a bit less comparing to 2017, but if you look at the value revenue, it's maybe less than 20%, or it's nice, I think. The weekly vinyl sellout this year was 60, 80,000. So the 8 players who usually handle the record store day stuff sold, I think, a nice quantity. It's not big numbers, but it's fine. That's it.
Hello, I'm Jan. I'm taking care of record store day in Germany, Austria, Switzerland, so 3 countries. Yeah, it's not a totally different story as the other countries, to admit. And the interesting thing is we didn't exchange our numbers up front, so I learned a lot from these guys, how they do it, and yeah, it's pretty much, or pretty comparable actually. The scenario that we are creating every year. You see some examples from the queuing people in front of the stores, and some, in some of the major cities. Also a comparable number of visitors. Of course, we do not count them people by people, but it's an how you say that? An estimation. Yeah. And also reports from the stores. And also we're talking about in-store events. Also one thing that we try to promote very actively to motivate the stores to do that, and very respect for the Dutch people, the Dutch colleagues, how they make the motivated bands not playing only one in-store gig, but probably 3 in a row. So you can probably tell me later on what's the secret to do that, put that motivation into the bands. Yeah, we have also, I'm very astonished every year that we have still such a growth in the whole scenario of records today, talking about the media reach, and also sales numbers. I thought, to be honest, already in 2013 that we kind of reached the top level. How can we make this bigger? But somehow it happens. We have shops report annually a growth of X%. I think this year it is, the shops report that. That's not a statistic what is got from the distributors, what exact sales numbers, but they say, okay, we probably have a growth of revenues of 10, 20, 30, something 50 or 100%. So we make an average, and this year it was again a growth of 15, 20%. Last year it was between 20 and 30%. So that's, and also, still the media coverage, it goes into the millions in all fields of media. And I'm wondering when we reach the top level. Michael, probably have the crystal ball in the US. Oh, yeah. No, okay. What else to say? The only thing I probably have, we have something to get better with in our country or our territory is that I would be happy if we would be able to get more domestic releases in our record store catalog than every year. But we're working on that. Any questions?
Hi everyone, I'm Michael Kurtz from Pearl Jam. I'm excited to announce that Pearl Jam has been selected as the 2019 Record Store Day Ambassador.
That's it? All right, Germany also.
Oh wow, what a journey, it's been amazing. That's pretty much our presentation, but we'd like to take a few questions if anybody has any for us, directed to myself, or I could direct it to anyone from any country. If you have any questions, raise your hand. try to answer. Good? All right, well, I cannot thank everyone enough, the organizers of the event, and all these great people from traveling long distance to come here to make presentations to you and to meet with you. Thank you so much. Thank you for coming. We're glad to be here. Have a good day.